to watch.
All right, it's 4 o'clock on Thursday, so that means it's time. 4:30. We're running a little behind, but we had some technical difficulties. But it's time for the real estate happy hour.
Yes, happy hour, Valentine's Day edition. So apologize for being late. We are
on location.
Yeah, we're on location. We're at a listing.
Yeah,
one of your new listings out in Chelsea, Alabama. Is that right?
Absolutely. We are at. Make sure I get the address right because hey. It's very important that you go take a look at this. It's 205 Woodbridge Trail here in Chelsea, Alabama. Just a beautiful house. Man, it is massive. I was setting some stuff up here, and you went looking, and you were gone for 10 minutes.
Yeah, we were checking things out, looking around, trying to see everything that's at the house here, and very cool. Very cool. So, big house. You got a lot of animals. Big hunter, huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Big hunter. I was trying to show you a picture of that marlin, but it's a big marlin right over your shoulder right
over here.
I mean, he's got a bear occasionally. There it is. He's got some bears. He's got a lot of fish.
Yeah.
And we just got a lot of house at a good price on it too. So
yeah, big time. So what are we talking about today? We've got some topics up top. We got top 10 deficiencies discovered by home inspectors.
Absolutely, big deal, right?
And then we've got a couple hits. I got a new book here, Bogglehead's Investment Guide. We are looking at the 7 ways to save money for investing. So we're gonna roll.
And hey, by the way, did you see? There's a story out that's talking about. I was thinking about a buddy that's about to get married, and they are blowing a ton of money on this wedding. And the beautiful thing is, a dad of daughters.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to show them this article that says the more you spend on a wedding, the more likely you are to get divorced.
Isn't that something?
Isn't that beautiful for our wallet?
That's crazy, huh?
Huh?
The amount of money that is spent on weddings, sometimes it's shocking what people do.
It is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, people go, well, and you know what it is? It's that not only did the daughter always want that dream wedding, it's mama too.
Oh, yeah.
And then daddy's just forced to pay for it.
Right.
You know, I mean.
Good to see you, Dubendorfer. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey, we haven't seen him in a while.
I know.
Good. I'm glad he's tuning in. But by the way, did you see we were talking about prices lately, and we've been talking about how prices have been going up and up and up, and that sort of thing. What's really interesting? Article came out the other day that talked about. I believe it was in the Wall Street Journal, talking about West Coast couples. You know, just young professionals and that they want to get into a house, but they can't afford it, so they have to have roommates. I mean, they get married. You're so excited about all that grown-up stuff.
Interesting. Very interesting that you have to, just to pay for the mortgage, you got to have extra people living with you to offset that huge expense.
You thought that was done at college.
Right.
And then, hey.
That's the new thing. But, hey, you know, it's along the same lines of shared transportation. You know, they have shared cars and stuff now. So.
They do. Where you can even lease your car out, I think, in some of these places. But, hey, one more thing I was going to tell you about. You know what's driving me nuts is everybody's talking about, oh, we don't have money around here, you know, around Birmingham area to fund this project, that project. But how many of these, you know, these electronic boards that you go by that says, what's that, alert, Amber Alert, be on the lookout. But that's like every 2 months.
Yeah.
Hey, how much would Pepsi or Budweiser pay for that? Right? We see the other ones. Let's make a little money. Let's fund it, baby. Or let's pressure wash these overpasses while we're at it. I mention that about twice a year. But.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, I looked up the old 2059 project today. Saw some pictures of the construction. Man, they got a lot of stuff going on. I don't drive up that way very often, so I don't see it firsthand. But
if you were a realtor, you would.
They got a lot of stuff going on.
Well, I tell you, it's just crazy going on over that. And by the way, did you see President Trump's childhood home just got listed by some folks, some realtors up in, let's see, Jamaica Estates in
Queens.
The Queens.
In Queens, New York. Yeah, interesting. More headlines on Trump today where he's signing a bill and they're going to be fighting over this government shutdown again here pretty soon, huh?
Well, we're going to avoid the shutdown, but
Maybe.
we're going to be fighting over, apparently we're going to be fighting over the national emergency.
Yeah, state of emergency.
State of emergency, national emergency.
But anyway, his childhood house listed at $2.9 million. Prior to election, it was only $1.6 million.
That's what you call taking advantage of a situation.
I mean, that's almost double in what, a couple of years?
I mean,
3 years?
I guess my favorite is in the listing pictures, they have a cardboard cutout of him in the corner of like a couple of the rooms.
Do they have a cardboard cutout of young Donald?
No. Yeah, well, that's right. And here's the key. Only Donald can afford it because guess what? You guys are going to hate this. Only cash offers.
No, that's fine. I mean, you think about a loan on a $2 million loan. Not a lot of people. Banks don't like those. They like 400,000 at a time.
I mean, what are we talking about?
They don't like
here?
to tie up that much.
And
cash.
Up there, I mean, that might be cheap, right? I mean, it's just weird.
Well,
up there.
I mean, I guess I'm talking about Alabama lending. New York, they might be used to that kind of deal.
Well, yeah, obviously. Yeah. And you know what's funny? When we went up there last time, I was asking the tour guide. I said, we were out in not Queens, but I think Brooklyn, I guess area. And I asked him. I said, so what do these obviously rich people do for a living? She goes, well, I really don't know. They all say they're car dealers, but we never see new cars anywhere.
Yeah.
In other words, it was just a ruse.
They say they're car dealers, huh?
Absolutely. But all right, interest rate update.
Interest rates aren't changing a whole lot. We're up and down a little bit, but not really enough to move the needle. Still around 4.5 on a 30-year fixed, a little bit under 4% on a 15-year fixed. So not really a big deal there. Not a whole lot of movement. Markets are relatively stable. So looking there. Next, we got the top 10 deficiencies discovered by, what was this, Home Inspections?
Yeah, Home Inspection, a website called Repair Pricer, in conjunction with the Dallas Morning News, did a study, and they analyzed 5,000 inspection reports. And these are the things that really, if you'll just take care of these things, you're probably going to take away literally half of the reports that we see, right? Because these inspectors are putting every last thing in there. And if you take away the stuff that's silly and inexpensive, like the first one, which is smoke alarms aren't working or are missing, 62%.
Hey, look, I'll tell you, I'm guilty of this, okay? When those things start beeping, when the battery's low or whatever, it drives me nuts.
Are you throwing stuff?
Yeah. Man, I'm going to admit, I have actually taken one down and it kept beeping. I got so upset with the thing, I wrapped it in a towel and put it outside on the deck under the grill.
Under the grill?
Yeah, so then I couldn't hear it anymore. It was probably the middle of the night. I don't know, man.
I don't know what you were doing. I mean, that's pretty intense to stop the beeping.
Look, it might have been the middle of the night. But yes, I guarantee you the smoke alarms missing is probably a big deal.
Yeah, I think
so
from a safety standpoint.
Invest in some batteries and fix them, right?
Well, doors need adjusting and servicing. 62% again. And this is such an easy thing because you just literally go into the door jamb and just usually it's a little tighter to pull it in at the top, a little looser to pull it out.
Yep.
Easy to fix. And here's the thing. Buyers are going to look at the house so differently at that point than they ever will when they move in.
Yeah, and these little things really do pop up a lot. Like the next one, the GFCI, the ground fault circuit interrupter. If those aren't working, those get flagged every time, don't they?
Yeah, and we're sitting right off a kitchen. This is a sitting room off a kitchen. You can just see right over by the wet area. Anywhere there's a wet area, you're going to have a GFI, right? Yeah. And so they're easy to test, right? Because they have a test button on them.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's over 60% right there that have that.
Now, this next one is going to admit I'm not going to be great at this one. Exterior caulking and sealer that are missing. Now, that would take actually going around and
actually working
all that stuff on the exterior of your house, right?
Yeah, I mean that would take you off your Peloton that you're in the air conditioning and all that doing your workout.
Yeah.
And make you work outside.
Yeah.
That's a little much for you, huh?
Yeah.
Me too. But anyway, 59% of the reports had that, so it's a big deal.
Yeah. Next one, faucets and heads that need servicing. Listen, I've got a couple of these right now. The leaky faucets, the handles on the sinks that are leaking probably need replacing. That's an easy one, huh?
Absolutely. I mean, just bulbs. Hey, even Auburn graduates can do that.
Even Auburn graduates can move right on to the next one, which is deficiency with fixtures and bulbs.
Oh yeah, I was on bulbs already because I've been locked and loaded with that one. Right?
Yeah, even Auburn favorites.
I mean, Ashley Miller, who's watching us right now, even he can screw in a light bulb. I mean, for gosh sakes, if you're going to sell your house, make sure the light bulbs are screwed in.
Hey, especially now we've got these light bulbs that last for 400
Forever.
years, right?
I mean, yeah, right. We're being forced to do that anyway.
Next one, cosmetic sheetrock
Huh?
Yeah, sheetrock cracks or nail pops.
Right. Nail pops. Easy to fix. I mean, your local realtor can give you a lot of suggestions on who can fix this stuff. Because if you don't know what you're doing, don't do it, because it's it's probably a little bit, you have to have some level of expertise to do it right.
Yeah.
You and I could mud this wall, but it may not turn out just right.
Yeah, it may look like crap. It may look worse than the nail pops that I could have left alone.
Yes, that were painted over properly. Yeah. Outlets or switches with deficiencies.
Yep. That's now these are pretty easy to change out. Electrical switches and things like that. You know, listen, just make sure that you go to the breaker box and turn that off. Right?
Yeah. Well,
good to see Mom's watching.
Hey, your mom's here.
Yeah, she's tuning in.
Mrs. Arnette, good to see you.
See, the funny thing is we got like a different crowd today with my phone on there.
Yeah, we're using his phone today.
Since the iPhone didn't work, and he always gives me a hard time about the Android. So
well, Mom's here, and that's all that matters.
That's it.
But you know one thing.
Happy Valentine's, Mom.
Well, one thing about Mom knows is that clean outlet plates matter, because women don't want to see grimy when they're coming through your house. They don't want to see your funk on switches and plates. So think about that. You're trying to sell something that is grimy. Man, it's a little disgusting, right? Because people are okay with their funk, they're not okay with your funk.
Absolutely. So you gotta check on these little details where a mess might stand out, like that on a light switch, right? Problems with electrical service panel. This one may be a little bit more.
Yeah, this is where we hire the expert. You know, I mean, hey, electrical service panel. If you're in the older areas of town, what you're going to have is the fuses. You might have the old knob and tube wiring that leads into that electrical panel if you're in an old house.
The old knob and tube.
The old knob and tube. Nothing like it. Now, that being said, you also don't want an overloaded new as the light, one of the lights just went out. Anyway,
it might be a little dark now.
There we go. Let's see. Lot does not offer proper drainage.
That'd be another big deal. That'd be another one that I'd have to defer to a professional. We're going to try to get our lights changed around a little bit. I think it's probably going to be all right though. But that'd be another one I would defer to the professional as far as the lot drainage. That's something that is outside of my comfort zone of doing a lot of work with, right?
Absolutely.
So moving on, let's see here. So I started reading a new book this week. It's called The Boglehead's Guide to Investing. I actually think it's Boglehead.
Is it David Bogle?
No, it's Jack Bogle.
Oh, no, it's not David either.
So
right?
look a lot brighter when I put the book up, huh?
Yeah, it focused on it.
We'll keep that. But anyway, so Jack Bogle is the founder of Vanguard Index Funds. They are a low-cost index fund. And these people have been following him and just big, huge fans of him. Put the book together. A few people, it's Mel Lindauer, Taylor Larimore, Michael LaBeouf. So here's what I've got: 7 ways to find money to invest. These are just ideas for you to look at your personal life and figure out where can we come up with some extra cash to put into investing. Now, the first one, but basically it says, above all, saving is the key to wealth. The first one, cut back on spending, because obviously reducing spending is the same thing as saving, right?
It would be if you have any money and you don't spend it.
But it's funny, I don't think people think about it that way. But it is true, if you spend less, that is the same as saving money. So it suggests to carry a notepad and write down everything you spend money on. A couple of suggestions on how to save some money: walk or ride a bike to work, catch a cab if that's economical. Maybe making coffee at home versus Starbucks. Obviously, that one comes up a lot. Starbucks over the last 10 years or so.
Pack a lunch, though, takes so much time. You know what I mean?
And you're going to have to wake up a little earlier, right?
Yes.
And get that done. Or actually rent a movie instead of taking the whole family to the theater.
Well, now, I agree with that. Now, who doesn't like that?
Certainly, that's going to save some dollars.
Absolutely.
Next one is Number 2 is pay yourself first.
I agree with this 1,000%, especially those that work for yourself.
Yeah, so as soon as you get paid, take some money off the top. Now, some people can have this diverted into a 401k straight out of their paycheck. So you take 10% right off the top, put it into 401k or something like that. But whatever you do, take some off the top, pay yourself first before you start paying bills.
Well, I mean, that goes for everything we do, right? I mean, you're going to tithe, take that 10%. Because here's the thing. You won't notice it's gone. I don't care if you took 20% out. You're probably not going to notice it's gone now because you're going to adjust your spending accordingly. But if you aren't telling it where to go, you're probably in trouble.
Absolutely. Now, one of my favorites is one of the reasons why I wanted to mention this today, and this one really stood out to me when I read through this, was committing future pay increases to investing. I know a lot of people won't think about this naturally, but many people get in the habit of spending everything they earn, right? So it's like whatever's left is I can spend it. So here's your opportunity. If you're in that, if you've made that mistake, and I'll admit I've made the mistake.
We all have, I think.
So if you're in that boat and you get an opportunity at a raise or a new job where you're going to get paid more, it's a great opportunity to just live with the spending level you've become accustomed to and put all that extra money away for a little while at least.
Absolutely. Totally agree with this one. Again, it goes back to what you and I were talking about last week about, like when you get done paying that car down, like Sarah Adams right here, when her Range Rover gets paid off. Hey, Sarah, don't go buy another car. Not that she would, but because she's a little thrifty too, like we are. But don't go buy another car just so you can get another car payment.
Right, absolutely, and that's going to be one of the topics coming up. Next one is shop for used items, thrift stores, garage sales, things like that. They mentioned clothing, tools, furniture, technology, all the stuff you can save a ton of money on, and all of that savings you can divert to investing. Now, obviously, the book is by based on Jack Bogle at Vanguard. So, investing this money into index funds, which is a broad swath of the market, right? So, it's not individual stocks. So it's a little bit safer, huh?
It is 100% safer. Now, I say have a little fun. I mean, use something like Robinhood, still go back out there. But with your retirement money, somebody like Sarah Adams, I know because I've talked to her about it. She's a very conservative investor. She wants it to be there. At the same time, with Sarah, what are you, 30? Right? She's got a long time till she has to worry about it. So she can be a little riskier in those investments. So take some chances.
But the biggest thing there is to just get some of this money diverted into savings as early as possible, because starting is obviously the biggest deal. Now, the next used item to save money on the next one is don't drive yourself to the poorhouse, which is, we're talking about cars. Of course, everybody buys cars. Everybody finances cars. I thought it was amazing that General Motors makes more profit from car loans than from selling cars.
That's mind-boggling.
That's mind-boggling.
Mind-boggling.
Very good.
Mind-boggling. Wow. You know what's funny is you forget GM credit, Toyota credit, all those.
Yeah.
They're finance companies.
They are, and a lot of people finance cars, and when you get out of that car loan, it's like you almost are just accustomed to having a loan. So the car's 5 or 6 years old, it's got 100,000 miles on it. You're like, let's go buy a new one.
I mean, I love a nice car when I'm renting one or something. I mean, because it's funny. Like, we'll be renting one for a week, and you might go get a nice one for the week. But it's funny, by about midweek, it's kind of lost its luster of the. Because that first couple of days, you're like, man, this is
you haven't
phenomenal.
lost that payment, though, have you?
No, not when you own it yourself.
Yeah, but that payment, the brand new car might wear off, but the payment definitely stays there. One
thing I would suggest is what Clark Howard says is go rent the car. If you're thinking about buying one, go rent that model car, because it's kind of like, I can imagine some people with a, what do you call them, a drop top, a convertible. I think that's going to be one of those things where you kind of go, man, it sounded good, but all the different things, when it rains, it's going to make a ton of noise. All those things, it may not be the best car you've ever had.
Yeah, absolutely. Next one is move where the cost of living is cheaper. Now, I did find this one pretty interesting. This may not be practical for everybody. You may not be able to just pick up and move and choose where you're going to live, but I thought it's interesting for you to look at your situation and see if this applies at all. But a move from Newport Beach, California, granted,
phenomenal place.
That just sounds expensive, right? From there to anywhere in Florida,
which I think is expensive when I just think about that, right?
Anywhere in Florida would reduce living costs by more than 50%, according to homefair.com. So that's a huge drop in the cost of living. We're talking about gas, groceries,
no state income tax.
Yeah, all of that stuff. Another example from New England, where you hate the winter.
And right? I hate Tom Brady.
And he hates Tom Brady. So from New England to Phoenix dropped about 40%. So that sounds like some retirement golfers, right? Phoenix, I always think about retired golfers.
I think about that. I think about snakes, rattlesnakes.
There you go.
Like gray ones that blend in.
But cheaper to live than New England. I know we've got some fairway friends up in the Boston area, so they could probably attest to the cost of living up there.
And cold.
So that's number 6 was move where the cost of living is cheaper. Number 7, this has been a really popular one lately, is create a side income.
Absolutely. Creating that side income is, massive, right? Uber.
We got Lyft. Shipped right now is the grocery store delivery stuff.
I think a lot of firemen, for instance, end up doing yard work, those type things on the weekends, and a lot of them do it where, think of shift work. If you're on shift work like a fireman is, alternating with somebody that's on the opposite schedule that has a similar need.
Yeah.
So you can cover all 7 days, if you will, to mow lawns.
Yeah, and a job like a fireman specifically is great because if you can stay there long enough to get that retirement, is excellent. I know a few people that have done that, and that's always great.
Hey, by the way, the guy that is hosting us is right now on the happy hour. Howard, you have a beautiful house.
Thank you, Howard, for letting us crash. We've had some technical difficulties, and we're kind of managing around it, but
yeah,
it happen.
Yes, and this marlin he caught, though, man, it is a beauty.
Cruised around, saw the bears and everything else in here, but finishing up on that, a couple of rental houses, things like that would be awesome for side income. One thing I did want to bring up was some quotes that I thought was unbelievable.
It's lasted how many years?
In the Bogle. It was mind-boggling.
It's mind-boggling.
That this came out about 250 years ago from our buddy Benjamin Franklin. In 1758, I didn't even know he wrote an essay or something called The Way to Wealth.
This is a guy like Howard Cannon that is a master of a ton of different things.
So if you go back to 1758, what are you blowing your money on back then?
Well, women and booze, probably, because there's not much else to do if you're in colonial America, right?
Same thing you're doing now.
Well, not me.
Oh,
not me. I'm happily married, but I mean, I'm just guessing because he's a single dude. David, he's a single guy in colonial America.
I thought this was beautiful. There's some quotes in here that. It's just amazing that came out 270 years ago. And it tells you that we're still not listening today. One of the good ones that you probably heard, early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Hey, Sarah Adams is watching us, and she says that to Jesse every morning.
Absolutely. Next one is, there are no gains without pains. I guess he was the first to say it.
Nick Saban just keeps saying it.
Since it's been changed. Here's a good one. Beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship.
That may be the most important one you hear today.
Man, and I think with the debit card and the credit card, those little expenses, man, it's so easy to swipe.
And don't use a debit card,
swipe
folks.
That $6 coffee or swipe $12 at lunch.
But I was talking the other day to somebody. We talk about the debit card, not using that debit card. And what they had done was they had gotten some wedding photographs from their daughter's wedding or son's wedding. And they had used a debit card to pay for it. Well, come to find out, about 6-7 weeks later, the photography couple that did the wedding is getting a divorce and just disbanding the company. When they went to challenge the charge, their bank said, tough luck. The money's been transferred because you used a debit card. You do not have the legal protections that you do with a credit card. I know some people say, well, I don't trust myself. Well, you need to grow up a little and be able to control the money just a hair.
You just grow up a little.
Well, and I'm not passing judgment on the people. They didn't know that those protections were gone.
Yeah.
But once you know that, use it.
Yeah, and I know we've talked about that in shows before. So definitely look into the difference between the credit card and debit card protections. Last one from our buddy Ben Franklin in 1758 was, "For age and want, save while you may. No morning sun lasts a whole day."
Yes. I mean, this is talking backwards, but
so you
what's he saying?
You're saying you gotta make hay while the sun's shining, save while you're making money. So you're making the most money when you're younger. Save that money early, and it'll.
Amazing that the insight that somebody had back then, and we don't listen even today.
We still don't listen today.
Well, even the government doesn't. I mean, that's the biggest problem, right? Those guys were visionaries. I mean, it was different. I mean. There's so many good books about that time in our history.
Well, I thought it was interesting. A couple of stocks that you wanted to bring up today. One of them, Activision. Activision just absolutely getting hammered lately. It looks like they missed earnings. It looks like the gaming market.
Talk to us about Fortnite. What Fortnite is owned by who?
I think
Electronic Arts.
Yeah, I think Fortnite is somebody else.
But that really hit them.
Well. Fortnite's doing well. Activision right now trading at little less than $46 a share. The high in October, just last October, $83. So it's almost been cut in half.
So is it a buy right now?
Oh, I don't know. I think there's more trouble.
Man.
It doesn't look good.
All right, talk about this next one.
The next one is Twilio. I mean, you talk about a tale of two stories here, or two completely different stories. Activision tanking, who knows where it's going. Twilio. Up 240% in 1 year.
And this is a company that is the only player in what they do, which is
cloud-based.
They're cloud-based, but they do anytime you go somewhere and they do text messaging, right, through an app, they're the facilitator of that. So, for instance, we have software we use on our website, and I was talking to the developer the other day. I was like, "Man, I love how y'all's functionality on that." He goes, "Yeah, it's Twilio. It's a direct integration Twilio." His customer, me, doesn't even recognize is a third party. He said it's the only game in town because they have the patents, they have the rights. It's a defensible. You and I were talking about defensible. It's defensible when you have the best technology.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you know, some of the stories I was reading today was some of these people are chasing this thing with the fear of missing out because they feel like they missed the boat. Some analysts are saying, "I'm not going to chase a stock like this up as high as it is," but look, it's just absolutely killing.
Well, and the analysts, I mean, believe it or not, I mean, they said this thing may have room to grow, right?
Yeah, it may have room to go, but still, anytime you chase a stock, it's gonna break your heart when it turns around and you're losing money in a position on a stock that's up 200+%.
All right, so to recap, the two today, Activision, I say, if you're ready to dabble a little bit and take a chance on a stock that has a history of doing well,
it's definitely down, but
it's down.
It's a good, probably.
There's some real value there. I mean, it's a real company. It's stayed the test of time. It's not one of these companies that just came around. The other one, Twilio, when you're the only game in town, you may take a chance with them.
Both of them are games. Huh?
And talk to people real quick, though, because about stop losses. If you wanted to play a game like Twilio and limit your losses, you can put an order in and tell them, hey, if it gets here, sell it.
Yeah, I don't remember what. I think it was trading somewhere around $130. I could be wrong on that. I looked at it today. But yeah, so if you bought in at $130 and you put a stop loss at, let's say, 120, something bad happened, then once the stock hit 120, your order would kick. So you don't have to watch it every day. Obviously, if you're trading volatile stocks, you can use this type of stop loss thing. So if it hits 120, your order will get triggered, and they will sell your shares
at a market rate.
At a market rate as close to 120 as they can get. So then you won't have to sit there and watch it all day and have the heartburn of the stock falling.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you, it's good, but
good to see Joyce joining in there today late. That reminds me, we did have our chili cook-off yesterday at the office.
How was that?
It was great. We had a good time, a good turnout.
Did you cook?
No, I did not. And
you just eat?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we had probably about 10 or 12 crock pots of chili. A lot of people came out, had a good time.
Are y'all raising money with that? Or?
Well, we did a little test run for the Exceptional Foundation Chili Cook-Off. I think it's March the 2nd.
Great organization, by the way, in Homewood.
Great organization, and we are the title sponsor for their Chili Cook-Off. So we did a little test run with our recipe that we're going to be making for the masses that day.
Y'all testing the recipe. I mean, is there? By the way, you know, real chili does not have beans in it, don't you? So no, it doesn't. But
no, you can't substantiate that. Real chili.
Go ask any chef. A real chili does not have chili beans in it. It really doesn't. Honest to gosh.
Who said it's real chili?
Ken Williams.
I said it's real chili.
Oh, it's fake. I mean, but it's fine if y'all are having a fake chili cook-off.
No.
Yep. But see, if you're smart, you'll go disqualify everybody.
But see, no.
You'd be like, you're wrong. Oh,
real
mate.
chili.
Anyway, man, thanks to Howard Cannon, the owner of this house. We're going to put a link down below so you can take a look at it because it is a beaut.
And thank you to Android for saving us today on being able to broadcast on the...
Yeah, we're getting too much latency, I believe.
On the interweb.
And anyway, 205 Woodbridge Trail in Chelsea, Cameron Woods subdivision, 625. What a deal. I mean, this house is massive. I mean, it's nearly 7,000 square feet.
Unbelievable.
It's got 3-car garage. I mean, it's just a beauty.
Come see it.
Don't forget the podcast. The podcast is out every week, and it's wherever you can find great
pod.
You can download it. That's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify.
Yeah, but we'd rather you just join us here live. On Thursday afternoon, you're not doing anything else. We know that. So just come on in and sit with us for a few minutes.
Absolutely. And we're going to switch probably in the next couple of weeks. I know we've been saying it. To our Facebook Live from the Real Estate Happy Hour show page. The thing is, Facebook doesn't make it easy to go both ways, I guess if you will, which is I don't know why I'm cracking myself up, but to go on these personal pages and then also the business page. They don't make it easy. So we're going to work through that. And anyway, we will see you next Thursday at 4:00 on the dot.
Unless we have problems.
Well, that's right. All right, and hopefully the government doesn't shut down between now and then. Oh, Sarah would like to talk about pools. What do you know about pools?
I think Sarah wants to talk about pools next week. What specifically we're talking about with pools?
No.
Jesse needs to put one in the backyard, or
I
what?
know the backstory on this. She's trying. Well, she wants us to talk Jesse out of the swimming pool.
Out of putting one in the yard.
Yeah, but see, I mean, he reminds me of Cousin Eddie. When he was, I don't know which one that was. I think it's when Clark's dreaming of his pool in Christmas Vacation, and that's what she envisions too. Because Jesse's one of a kind. And,
one of a kind.
And she sees it as but hey, she let him go buy a pool. I mean, a house that had a flat backyard and room for a pool.
There you go.
I mean,
so I think Collier just said it's kind of your fault too.
Yeah, I mean, you married up, and do you want to disappoint him and make him sad on Valentine's Day?
Yeah, not on Valentine's Day. We'll have to talk about that next week.
Yeah. All right, we're going to talk about it next week. We're going to talk about swimming pools. All right, we'll see you next Thursday, same time, same place. Well, same place, and we'll see you then. Have a great week.
See you guys.